The large accumulation of snow in the mountains of Utah, combined with an unseasonably warm January that included several rainstorms, led to a rapid melt on ground that was saturated and partly frozen. This resulted in a massive runoff and flooding in several northern Utah communities, including Nibley.
Nibley City is kind of an agricultural area still. We're on the edge of development. We have a lot of farm fields, and a lot of the fields in our community were full of a couple feet of snow, and then they got a couple of inches of rain on top of that. They melted, and those fields turned into lakes. Once they filled up, that lake started flowing, and it didn't stop until it hit houses. What you see behind me here used to be a horse corral. Now it's a lake. We're several weeks after the event, and we still have this much water.
With stormwater basins overloaded and more water flowing above ground, dozens of Nibley residents had water seeping and even pouring into their basements.
What a lot of them started doing was pumping it out with sump pumps. Unfortunately, the next result was our stormwater system and our sewer system started to get overwhelmed from all of the water being dumped into them from people's basements. Our sewer system was what we were most concerned about. We normally have between 100 and 400 gallons per minute going through our sewer system. At the peak of this flooding, we had about 1,800 gallons per minute going through the system. We were concerned that we might see some backup into people's homes. This was actually happening while we were watching this. The city next door was witnessing wastewater backing up into people's homes, into their basements. And we're talking about raw sewage in people's homes. It's not pretty. You don't want it to happen. So we wanted to do everything we could to prevent that from happening here in Nibley. Once we realized our wastewater system was at risk of being overwhelmed, we knew we had to get the word out quickly to our residents. Of course, we have the traditional methods of reaching out through the media, the news media, radio stations, newspaper. We have a website that we use. We have a pretty big social media presence. We used all of those. We also used our community alert system. We have a community alert system that will send a phone call, a text message, and an email to every resident in town if there's an emergency. We asked them initially to stop putting their stormwater or the groundwater into their sewer. We saw that that wasn't enough, and the next thing we did is we asked them to just completely stop using their sewer system. We asked people to stop washing laundry, flushing toilets, taking showers, washing dishes, because our system was so overwhelmed.
Nibley residents responded admirably, each doing his or her part to help with the emergency. And the city immediately started pumping water from the low spots to try to alleviate the damage. Nibley was also able to track the flooding and monitor particular trouble spots using GIS technology.
Cache County has a system to track roads that were closed, bridges that were out. It was posted real time online so residents could see what was going on. It was a great tool to both inform the public and allow the government agencies to keep track of what was going on.
A month after the flooding event, many parts of the city are still completely saturated with water, and several homes are still pumping water from their basements. And while Mother Nature is impossible to control, what Nibley City learned during this emergency will make them even better prepared to handle a similar flooding situation should it arise in the future.
A lot of this water we know didn't come from our residents, but came from manholes or other places where water was leaking into our sewer pipes. But we've been working on sealing those up and making sure that the system is as watertight as possible.
From a soggy Nibley City, I'm Matt George for the Utah League of Cities and Towns.